Hi ladies, good afternoon and welcome to this week's Technique Tuesday class. This is Sarah Shipton from Scrapbooking with Sarah and I'm coming live to you today on Tuesday, January 30th for this week's Technique Tuesday class. I'm super excited to share this layout with you, and we are creating pattern number 27 this week from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 3 book. Pattern number 27 is on page 58. As we are working through the Make It From Your Heart book, we are adding extra photos. So when we started off with this book right back in the beginning, there was only about 4 photos per page. We're working right through now to 7 photo layouts. Now, having said that, there are going to be some little 2x2 inch photos in this week's layout and obviously moving forward in the next couple of week layouts as well. So today, not only do I want to introduce you to this fabulous new product that we have in the January-February catalogue, the 3-inch by 3-inch photo frame thin cuts, I also want to give you some tips today for how to incorporate 2x2 inch photos into your layout, what kind of photos to use. I know that smaller size can sometimes be a struggle for us scrapbookers because we love the bigger photos. So I'm going to give you some tips on that today. And this week I am using the featured paper collection Let's Party, and I've also combined it with our current mix-in paper pack from the January-February catalogue. So the Let's Party paper collection is the featured paper collection for January. As you can see here, the colours with this paper collection were quite diverse in that they would suit both a masculine and also a feminine themed layout. So it's not necessarily just suitable for boys or for girls. You can use it for either or. And today I wanted to show you how you could just narrow this collection down to only a couple of colours to coordinate with perhaps your photos or the theme itself. So, for example, I've done some layouts with this paper collection. I've used mostly the reds and the pinks for my daughters. And as you can see here today, I've used mostly the blues and the greens. So these photos are taken from a luncheon we had for my husband's 50th birthday, a beautiful winery up in the Adelaide Hills, just out of McLaren Bell, called Lazy Ballerina. Beautiful wood fire pizzas, beautiful wines, and it was autumn. So I wanted to focus on the photos for this particular layout, showing kind of like the grounds of the winery itself and some of the food dishes as well. So I love to take photos of those types of things. So it's not just people, but also the surroundings in my photos to give me a real great feel for the atmosphere and the ambience that was from a particular event or experience that I had. Because I love looking back at my photos and not just so much the people in the photos, but the place or the experience. And I find that quite often by incorporating those types of photos into your layout, it takes you back to that moment in time, which is one of the things that I love most about scrapbooking, being able to relive and recapture those memories that you had from a particular event, time, or experience that you may have captured. So with this particular layout in mind, I did use the Let's Party paper collection. I didn't have a lot of pattern paper left over from my scrapbooking workshop kit. Okay, so I have used most of my scraps in other weekly challenges that I have already presented to you. So what I needed to do was bulk up my paper with the mix-in paper pack. So quite often I will incorporate the mix-in papers to our weekly scrapbooking challenge. The thing I love about our mix-in paper pack is that the pattern papers in this pack coordinate with both of the monthly featured paper collections in our catalogue. As you can see here, it works with Let's Party and it also works with Sweet Memories. This will be our paper collection for February, so stay tuned. On 1st of Feb, I will be posting some of the layouts that I've created with this paper collection, and next week for our weekly scrapbooking challenge, it will feature the Sweet Memories paper collection as well. So I have bulked up my layout with these mix-in papers. What I've got into the habit of doing is actually investing in 2 packs of these mix-in papers. So then I have got 2 of the same matching pattern papers to use in the event I want to have that as my base in my scrapbook layout. So when you've got lots of space here, you can see using pattern paper is really handy, and I prefer the more subtle patterns as my base pages because it's not so in your face. I've gone with this beautiful wavy grey pattern. On the back side here, you've got another grey pattern, but this is like a swirly grey pattern. So the reason I'm investing in 2 of each of these paper packs is that you only get 1 sheet of pattern paper. So 6 in total, but 1 each of 6 double-sided. So you don't actually get 2 of the same, which is why I've been investing in 2 paper packs. This is also the mix-ins from the mix-in paper pack. My zip strip is left. Oh, that's also from the mix-ins. The only thing that was left over from my Let's Party paper collection is this black and white dotted paper. This was some of the exclusive paper in the scrapbooking workshop kit. And then I've used the stickers and the acrylic shapes from the Let's Party range. So some of these stickers were left over, and the acrylic shapes were actually not left over from the scrapbooking workshop kit. So something important to keep in mind is that the embellishments that come in your scrapbooking workshop kit, the thing I love about it is that you will get the exact amount of embellishments that you'll need to create your 3 scrapbooking layouts. So if you want extra embellishments, quite often I will purchase a pack of the coordinating embellishments separately. So then I've got extra embellishments that I can use to create with from my leftovers and bulking it up with that mix-in paper pack. So I have bought a separate pack of the Let's Party acrylic shapes. So I've used some of those up today as well. And then also to embellish, I've got a pack of the black and white dots here. So these you can invest in separately in the Essentials catalogue. There's a whole range of coloured dots. I love having a packet of the black and white dots on hand because obviously so versatile and it goes with everything. As for my stickers, you can see here that I've used mostly blue and green stickers from the Let's Party paper collection to coordinate with my layout. So initially last week I said that I was going to be using Skylark, and when I came to create with that for this week's scrapbooking challenge, I actually didn't have a lot of leftover pattern paper. I didn't have enough as such to create with for the patterns that we have got left in volume 3 of the book. So I did have to get a little bit creative and switch it up there. So I've chose only blue and white embellishments, blue and green embellishments to coordinate here. I've gone with the periwinkle cardstock, which coordinates with both Let's Party and the current mix-ins, just bringing up the blue that you can see here in Jai's hoodie and on his Nikes, and just to give that a really nice soft blue feel. Using also the jade cardstock to give the greens from the outdoors. So what I have done here, you can see that I've used the 3" by 3" photo frames thin cuts. And the reason I did that was, well, I wanted to introduce you to this fabulous product because it is only in the January-February catalogue. So what that means, girls, you'll find it on page 45 of your Jan-February catalogue. We've got 3 new thin cuts here. The items that are in this catalogue are only available for sale for the duration of this catalogue. Now, as you can imagine, these 3 thin cuts have been very, very popular. We have sold out of this thin cut. However, we have another shipment coming in February. If you go onto my website, and I will put links in the comments below after I post this video, if you pop onto my website, you will see a big coming February red sign over the top of these 3 shaped thin cuts. So my suggestion to you is if you want to add these thin cuts to your collection, you are going to want to do that before this catalogue finishes at the end of Feb. And if you are a VIP customer, you can redeem your VIP credits for these thin cuts because these are items in a catalogue for sale. They're not promotional. So I have used the 3" by 3" photo frame thin cut on my layout. I've got also the 3" by 3" postage frame thin cuts. These are both $26.50 each. Stay tuned for this because I'm going to be creating with this with our, let me see if I get this right. It's our featured paper collection for May. Yes, I already know what we are doing for April and May, girls, but you'll have to stay tuned on that. I can't give you a sneak peek on that just yet, but I'm going to be using this in May. So my suggestion is if you want to grab those thin cuts before the end of Feb to definitely do so. There is also a 3" by 3" window frame thin cuts die. I haven't invested in this one. Not sure if I'm going to at this stage, but that is also $26.50 as well. So instead of using one 5" by 7" photo on my scrapbook layout, I don't print a lot of photos in 5" by 7" size, admittedly. If I do so, it will be a photo that's like really special or one that I want to highlight for like a single page layout only. So I didn't have a 5" by 7" photo to go with these particular photos. So what I've done here is I've created a collage using the 3" by 3" photo frame thin cut, and I've just filled that space there with 4 photos. Now each of these photos are obviously designed to fit the frame 3" by 3". However, I did cut my photo a little bit larger. I cut it at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, so then you had room to move with when it came time to put the frame over the top of the photo, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you today. So let's get stuck right into it. Pauline has joined us. Hi, Pauline. She's working on this layout today. Well, that's super exciting. Now, to use this thin cut, we are going to need a die cutting and embossing machine. This is the Close to My Heart die cutting and embossing machine. I've got my platform and I've got my cutting mat here ready to rock and roll. I'm going to take the thin cut out of the packaging. So this is on a magnetic carrier sheet. So when I finish with it, I can pop it straight back into my magnetic carrier sheet. Quite sturdy as well. And it's got this really cute little stitched edge around the inside of the frame, which I love, love, love. So it gives this cute little textured feel to your cardstock. So super love that. We are going to cut some cardstock down. I have got a sheet of my periwinkle cardstock here and my paper trimmer. So let's cut the cardstock down first of all. Now, what I did here was I just popped my photo frame. So whilst the inside is to mat a 3 by 3" photo, you can see here that the frame itself with the border is a little bit bigger. So I cut my paper at 4 1/4 inches just to give me a little bit of leadway there. So I'm going to line this up at 4 1/4 inches. And this was able to get me, I think it was only two of the frames. There wasn't much room left under here. But also cutting that at 4 1/4, you could cut your excess off for a journal box, or cutting that at like 4 1/4 by 2 1/4 or 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. You've got a little bit of room left over to do that there. So I'm just going to pop my trimmer to the side and that excess paper. I've got my cutting mat here. Now, with the new Close to My Heart die cutting and embossing machine, it comes with this platform and it comes with this cutting mat. It also comes with an adapter, which I've not yet had to use. I do have the magnetic cutting mat, but I wouldn't suggest using the magnetic cutting mat through the Close to My Heart die cutting and embossing machine because it will warp your magnetic cutting mat. So we are back to using washi tape to secure the thin cut in place over the top of your cardstock. Now, there is a video you can watch, a Close to My Heart YouTube video. It's actually on my website. If you search for the die cutting and embossing machine, there is a YouTube link video on my website where you buy the die cutting and embossing machine from, which will show you how to use this. So I've got my cutting mat, my cardstock, my thin cut is over the top of my cardstock. And there is a note here, platform, not a cutting surface. So you never put your thin cut onto this cutting surface. You put it onto your cutting mat. Okay, so your cutting mat also is double-sided, so you can use either side. I'm putting my platform over the top of that, so then it creates a sandwich that my thin cut and my cardstock is in between. I'm just going to bring my machine back into the frame here. We are going to pull the platforms of that down and lock them into place. And then I've got my sandwich of my cutting mat and my platform there. And all I have to do is feed that into the front of the machine. And there's a handle here which is out of view, but there's you can wind that handle around and you can see that my cutting mat and platform is running through. And if you can hear that crunching sound, I've actually set my die cutting and embossing machine to a certain pressure, which is suggested. You do get a little instruction manual in your box with the machine. So I've already set my die cutting machine to the appropriate pressure for our thin cuts. And you can see here how easily that has already come out. I'm just going to take the washi tape off really carefully. I've just used some extra washi tape there that I had sitting around in my box, popping that on top there, and you can see the inside's going to come out, so you want to keep that because you might be able to use that for something, right? And then this will come out quite easily. There are some little holes inside the thin cut, so you could use your tweezers or one of your little pokey tools to get that out if the machine has really stuck that paper in there quite well. So that is what you're going to end up with your frame. Let's move this out of the way. And now I'm just going to give you some tips with putting this on here. So what I did was I actually turned my mat upside down, and using my adhesive, I just went around the edges of the frame. This is the inside edges, okay? So when I turn this over, I'm going to stick this face down. I just went around the inside edges here to put some adhesive over there because I'm going to stick my photo face down onto that frame. Now I don't have, let's just use this for fun. So this is a 4x6 inch photo, and I'm just going to cut my photo down to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, just so I've got a little bit of room to play around with. I'm going to get this excess bit off the top here because we don't need that. Okay, so 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I didn't use this photo initially because it's quite a close-up photo. So cutting your photos down small. Now I want this green bit here in the center. So if I eyeball that at about 3 1/4, I'm going to take a little bit off of this side here. And then I'll turn this around and cut this at 3 1/4 here. So I've got my, what do you call that, food garnish in the center there. So I've cut my photo down to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, okay? And then I'm going to get my photo frame and I'm going to pop that over the top of my photo. So when I apply pressure to that, it's going to stick down. Now you can see that if I cut that 3 by 3 and I've got that right there. So I probably could have centered that a little bit better from top to bottom, but it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure there. And then you can see I've been able to use that thin cut to create that photo frame for my photo. And this is how we've ended up with these 4 photos here. So I kind of just eyeballed this, to be honest, because this was meant to be where there was a 5x7 inch photo. I have eyeballed it, to be honest. I did put it down the 2.5 inches that the instruction in the pattern advised. And then I've kind of just eyeballed this a little bit off center. I've made this photo of the two of us the feature photo. So I have actually got this popped up with some 3D foam tape and overlapping the top, and then this one off to the side. The thing I love about this space here, you could actually journal underneath your photos here if you wanted to. This would be great for a travel album, girls, using this particular thin cut for a travel album. So you've got room to journal here under your photos. You could even embellish. You can see here I've put on some of the acrylic shapes. If you're using acrylic shapes, you're going to need some of your glue dots to stick your acrylic shapes down. 3D foam tape if you want to pop any photos up, journaling underneath. I could have also put perhaps this title sticker here underneath as well. So you can use this space underneath the photo for journaling and also for embellishing as well. So I do really love that. Now, let's talk about some tips for your 2x2 inch photos, okay? Because I know some of you struggle with the 2x2 inch photos. So where this comes in really, really handy here. So I'm going to share something with you. Okay, so this photo here, I cut this photo down to 3¼ by 3¼ which meant that I had this excess bit left over from the top of my photo. And so from that scrap, I've cut out this little 2x2 inch square, just showing the beautiful gum trees and the autumn colors there in my trees. So you can cut 2x2 inch squares out of your scraps from other photos that you've cut down smaller. You would need to cut your photo at 3x4 or 4x4 in order to make sure you had enough left over from a 4x6 inch photo. So I hope that makes sense what I'm saying to you there by using that scrap. We've filled this space here with some cardstock, and then I've just popped some stickers and embellishments on there, and that's created a little embellishment focus there. This here, where the word wine list is, again, was actually left over from the bottom of this photo. I've taken a photo from the top showing the platter and the wine. I had the wine list in here as well. And so I've cut this photo down to 3¼ by 3¼ I've had some left over from that photo at the bottom. So I've been able to chop out the words wine list there from a little 2x2 inch photo. This photo here was an extra one. So this I did cut down from a 4x6 inch photo. So this was like a little, like sort of pergola feature that they had in the garden, the grounds of the winery. And I had actually, here we go, we are standing in front of that here, okay? So you can't actually see the pergola and the little cute fountain and the little garden. So this I actually did cut down a 2x2 inch square from a 4x6 inch photo. You can also use photo collage apps. So some of the popular ones are PicMonkey or PicCollage, or I'm trying to think what some of the other ones are called that on my phone, obviously, or just a photo collage app. You can create a collage on your phone. So you would pick a 2x2 inch collage in the size of 4x6. So you'd end up putting 1, 2, 3 photos, 4, 5, 6 photos. So you're getting 6 2x2 inch photos on a 4x6 inch photo, and then you save that to your camera roll. And then when you go to upload your photo to Harvey Norman or wherever you print your photos at, you're going to have a 4x6 inch photo, which has got 2x2 inch photos on it. So it prints as a 4x6 inch photo, but when you pick that photo up, you're going to cut that photo down into 2x2 inch squares. So you can actually create your collage on your phone first. I know this is really popular with some of my customers. My daughter Kayla uses PicCollage. There are some free ones that you can download from Google Play or the App Store. Sue Robinson has a Samsung. So if you have a Samsung, girls, you actually have a collage option in the Photos app that's on your phone. It comes with your phone. So you can create your own collages on your phone without having to download an extra app. If you've got a Samsung or an Android, I believe that is on there. If you have an iPhone, then you do need to download a collage app because there's no collage features on the iPhone in the iPhone Photos app, as far as I am aware. So that's just a couple of handy tips there for you. And also, I know a lot of you are scrapping older photos. You're going back and scrapbooking older photos. Think back to when we just used to point and shoot. We never really used our camera properly with the full frame like you do with the phone these days. Some of your older photos, by the time you cut them down, you're really only focusing on something quite small or significant, and you end up with all this waste of space in your background. That would be really handy to use those older photos to cut down into 2x2 inch size as well. So I hope those tips have been helpful for you this week, girls. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing me demonstrate the new 3x3 inch photo frame thin cut. I will post links in the comments below to these new products. I am placing an order tomorrow night on Jan 31st for last orders for January if you are after Skylark, and then I'll be placing another one after 11:30 p.m, which will be my February order. If you want to qualify for your February stamp of the month, you can send your order through before 9 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm not sure whether we are going to have this shipment back in. It just says coming February on my website. There's no date as such. So it will just be a matter of me keeping an eye on that product. And as soon as it comes in, if there's any of you that are interested in purchasing these frames, then pop it in the comments below and I'll be sure to notify you personally when they come back in stock. Thanks all for watching, guys. Have a great week and I can't wait to see your creations. Thanks, Pauline. Thanks, Belinda.